Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
Hey guys, the Chicken is here. We are back today with another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, what I wanted to talk about was day one tech tree pathing, some plans. Now that we've been able to see all the sneak peeks for a little bit, if you haven't, make sure you check it out, last video. Yeah, so we're going to go over what the community is kind of coming up with as tech tree paths and just interesting things that jumped out. So guys, if you haven't already, appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Also appreciate it if you throw in that code CHICKEN in the shop. It does help support to keep the lights on and that kind of thing. So, season 37. Now, I think right out of the gates, me and OP kind of hit the nail on the head with the starting meta. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's going to be heavy rush, and I think it's actually going to be worthwhile to go down this path and get yourself some flares. So, yeah. So we want to make sure that we get flares and get heavies. I think everything else comes secondary at that point. Now, the one thing I'm a little bit unsure of is how strong the defenses are actually going to be. I mean, we do have a defensive building damage right here. So, the splash damage is going to add up. And keep in mind, we don't have the troop health until after we go to 3 engines, and we have to spend a ton of keys to get to this flare spot. So, I think once you get the flare, the heavy, and the first troop health at 3 engines, that'll probably be the first goal, the first little push point to get there. Because, I mean, even once we go there, we still have to get mortars. We have to get this multi-node. Like, we're going to have a lot of defenses, and a lot of people probably aren't going to be able to get to troop health right away until at least they get their 4 to 4 chests. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Also, we're going to be going live, guys, on the main channel, so right here. 4 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday morning for the kickoff of the stream. It is a holiday here in Canada, so pretty pumped with that. But yeah, so getting the first troop health. Now, the next big question, there's a lot of big decisions coming out of the gates here. The next big question is bullet. So do we want bullet or do we want something else? Now, thankfully, this season, we don't have to unlock any heroes, I don't believe. I think they're all slightly off the path. Yeah, they're all slightly off the path. So we actually get to pick our own hero this season. So, I think bullets can be very, very strong, especially right off the bat with no shock launchers, no shock mines. If you can energy drink one engine room or, just quickly taunt through them and do more damage, how we're going to use him remains to be seen, but he's going to be very, very strong. So I'm leaning towards that. I think I'm going to go day one, flare, obviously heavies, flare, and then basically straight to bullet. If I can get that many keys. I'm not 100% sure, but that is the plan. Actually, I'm going to start with, 248 keys, so we should get there, actually, no problem. Yeah, we should get there, no problem, I think. Well, we got to unlock all this stuff, too, so it's going to be around there. It's going to be around the bullet mark. I don't think we'll have enough to get bullet right away, but yeah. So then we can add some more cannons. Things start to get a little bit more defensive as we move up here. And then I think the next point after we get bullet is just going to be simply to rush to that second troop health. It's going to make your heavy rush that much stronger. It seems like we're going to be using heavy rush for a pretty long time here. I would not go with sniper towers. I think we're going to skip those. I don't think defenses early on are going to be as important. I think we want to get the main ones. I mean, anything that we have to unlock, I would pour some tokens in there because other than bullet and flares, we're not really leveling up anything. We also start with medkits, which is interesting. Not really going to be that useful for heavy rush, but keep in mind also we're not going to have any GBE nodes until I don't think this one is worth getting. I think going to 4 engines and building health faster and getting the GBE is probably going to be the better bet. But so all the guys that finished really high last season, I think the opposite is true for them, and they want to skip everything and get to Barrage immediately, and go that route. Because if you can get Barrage day one at 4 yards with building health, I think you're going to be in a really, really good spot. Yeah. So next up, as we move forward here, I think what we've typically seen in the past is whenever you can get to boom cannons and the meta is a heavy rush meta, that's always a really nice push point because that's going to make your base so much harder to take down. You add that to the potential building health that you have at the same time. And also we want to go this route anyways to get the bombardiers. So I might skip barrage. I mean, we'll see. It's hard to say, but I think boom cannons are going to be the focus out of all this stuff. And getting them, I think you're going to need boom cannons and building health at the same time. So whether you get one or the other first, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. But yeah, I think boom cannons are going to be huge. And as soon as you get boom cannons and heavy rush dies out, in come the bombardiers. So we're going to be using heavies and bombers. So you got to keep that in mind as well. Heavies, bombers, and bullet is not really a great mix. What is a great mix is heavies and bombardiers and Kavan. So again, do you want to progress quickly early, or bullet's a huge investment. If he doesn't pay off, like if you're going with bullet, then you're essentially saying that you're going to use that hero for the duration of the season, because to get bullet and Kavan, that's going to get really expensive. We're looking at almost 100 keys there, 84 keys. So yeah, if you can keep going with bullet, then maybe that's the better route to go. Troop damage over here. I don't think anybody's going to be going for brick. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense unless heavy rush becomes super strong with all the troop health, and you want to use battle orders. But I think bullet's probably going to be better for that overall. Plus we have heavy choppers right here, so that's going to be where we want to go. Now heavy choppers are, I think that's after, this is the 6th engine, right? Yeah, so 6, 7, yeah, okay. So heavy choppers, not super early, typically where they kind of always are. But obviously that's going to be the destination once you get to 6, is get building health, heavy choppers, or a lot of guys are really excited about Seekers this season, so it could be a really good season for Seekers as well. How that plays out remains to be seen, but yeah. So that's kind of, an overview of everything, essentially. But yeah, I think it really comes down to your starting tech. But I think the path is the same for everybody. Like, you essentially have to get everything before you go to 3. And I would not get Everspark. I don't think Everspark makes a lot of sense. I'm really glad that she's right there. And, Barrage or something isn't there, for example, early on at 2 ERs. So I'm glad they did that. But yeah, so we got the multi-node over here, so more defenses. But yeah, I think we essentially have to unlock everything at 2 before we go to 3. I mean, we could rush 3 and then maybe backfill a bit, or maybe rush 3 and get bullet. That would be an interesting way to go as well. But yeah, I think the safe route, just get the flare. Flare is typically always faster than not being able to flare. Like, look at this, for example, the 2 paths we're talking about. What's going to be faster, going with bullet or going all heavies so you can't get bullet and just flares? It's probably going to be all heavies with just the flares, right? Especially considering we have troop health at that point. Maybe we can skip bullet, get to the second one a little bit faster. Maybe negates the need or the value of bullet a little bit. Remains to be seen. But we don't have any shock mines, but we do have regular mines and boom mines. Now with the 2 troop healths, one boom mine at max level will not kill a heavy. Two boom mines barely kills 1. So that's how much health these guys are going to have, which is pretty crazy to think about. But, obviously they're all going to be stacked up. So, I mean, the mines are going to be an issue. And they are both relatively early. I think we see, I think we always see boom mines around 3 or 4, like maybe sometimes in the 5th ER. But, yeah, I'm just glad they didn't put shock mines at early on, because that just becomes a nuisance. So yeah, obviously guys, if you didn't know already, make sure you max out your landing crafts 100% of the time. Do it every time regardless of anything else, unless we're starting with like heavy choppers or something, and you need to put your tokens elsewhere. It's only like really weird specific tech trees that you wouldn't upgrade your landing crafts to max. So max them out every single time. Gunboat, I would say always hold off on upgrading the gunboat. You can always come back and do it. I mean, it's super cheap. But just wait and see. Like, if you need the extra GB, go ahead and grab it. But don't put your tokens there if you don't need to, especially if you're not getting flares right out of the gate. Because, we're going to have flares and medkit. What else are we really spending our GB on? Not really anything. So I think unless we go bullet, unless you have bullet, then I would not upgrade the gunboat, because, what are you spending your GB on? The flares are going to be cheap. You're going to be better off to get your flares to rank 3 or 4. Now, typically with the flares, we want to get them to rank 3 and not any higher at the beginning of the season. The reason for that is if you want to do a split flare, or if you want the flare to expire and, kind of flare to an area, something like that. Yeah, get the flare to rank 3 right out of the gates, and then wait and see if there is that value to get up to rank 4. Now there are some guys, I have heard this as well. Again, this is going to be like very high level players, but some guys are going to skip flares and go straight to seekers because seekers don't need flares, which is pretty crazy to think. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you're feeling for season 37, what your day one path is going to be. Always interested to get a little insight and see what everybody's thinking before the season starts, and then go back and see if we were right or wrong. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. Catch the next one, guys. Chicken out. Back.